back to the Crimson 15 podcast. I'm your host, Crimson 10. If you're enjoying these long format reviews, be sure to sub, like, share, and hit that bell for notifications. Also, if you're really awesome, you can join our Discord server, link in the description below. So, episode 6 of She-Ra and the Princess of Power Light Spinner, and it's a good episode. I can't, there's only, the worst part's the end, and it's only like 30 seconds long. But everything else is actually good to like pretty awesome. But we came to the same problems that it's over and over again. Everyone's been saying this in the comments, and it's true. These writers can only write bad guys. They can only write villain arcs. They can only write betrayals and things like that. They can't write good heroes, which is fine if that's, your job is to write the bad guy parts, but there's good guy parts too, and they just can't do it. Everything with the door doesn't work, but here we get to learn everything about Shadow Reaver's past, how she came to join the Horde and all that kind of stuff. So we start out the episode, we see Mysticor, and it's, God, see how bad this looks right here? Remember how good that, in the last episode, they were like in that snowy area, how cool that looked? Here you can tell that the designs are super rushed here, but that doesn't really matter because the rest of the episode's actually pretty good. We see, I remember Shadow Reaver used to be Light Spinner. That was her name before she became evil. And you see her like, oh, it's the past. And she's like a teacher. Teaches some kids like light and she like makes this giant kind of falcon, phoenix looking thing and it's flying through the air. And then you see another student makes like a ram and breaks it. And I guess it's like they're making illusions. So not like powerful magic, just kind of light projections. And I guess this kid, Micah, is like the star student. He's the one who's the most advanced and he wants to do more. And he's like, he's eager to learn. Come on, Light Spinner. I'm tired of doing these illusions. I want to do something cool. I want to be able to levitate and move stuff and cast like, magic missile and everything else. And you see that the other students, they're struggling just to make the seals. And it's very Doctor Strange-ish. Except for it being yellow and gold, it's like blue, but they make like the seal and then they can make their magic after that. Pretty cool. And I like the fact that the younger kids are doing it, but it's a little messed up and Shadow Reaver's like helping them shape it because it has to be a perfect circle.
I've been doing light illusions since before I can even remember.
Pretty cool stuff. But the other kid, this Micah kid, he's super advanced. He's ready to go to the next level, but I guess you need to, crawl before you walk and then walk before you run and run before you fly. And he just wants to do things right away. And she explains to him, you third years don't do that kind of magic. And he's like bothering her and he makes like making fun of the council because they said not. He's like, does a little funny little face. There, the comedy works there. I'm actually smiled. I can't believe it. I laughed at a joke in She-Ra.
The Guild of Sorcerers prides itself on being out-of-touch geezers. We wouldn't want anyone to learn actual magic.
But it fades into modern times where, Shadow Reaver lost all her power. She's sitting in a cell. And Catra always brings her food. And then she like just throws it on the floor like, geez, Catra, come on. And it's like out of reach so she can't even reach it. But dang. And you see that Shadow Reaver's been marking the walls. And I didn't stop and count it all, but it's a lot. She's been in there for quite some time. We get to Horde, and I guess he's only part real. Like he has a bunch of robot parts, and just like Darth Vader, he has like a little sanctum where it like puts all his parts on him, or I don't know if it's these things are doing maintenance on him. And one of them screws up, and then of course he cries out in pain. Catra walks in there and she's, wanted to talk to him, but he's like in his weakest state, I guess. And then, he doesn't like that, gets his coat on and everything. They're talking about Shadow Reaver. And I guess this is the dumbest part of the episode, just because aside from the part at the end where he's like, okay, we're going to send her to Monster Island. Like, could they have called it something else? If you're going to update stuff and if there's things that are like from the 80s, whatever, but come on, give it a better name than that. It's the Island of Misfit Toys. But he's like, yeah, just banish her. He would probably have her killed, but whatever. But Catra's kind of, I don't know, like protecting Shadow Reaver. She's like, oh, she's so useful to us. She knows more about Etheria than anyone else, technically because she's older than everyone and she's, was part of the Magic Guild and all that. But he's like, we haven't gotten anything from her. So either you find some use for her or we're going to have her, shipped off to Monster Town. She's too much of a woman for Monster Town and too much of a monster for Boy Town. We have, I guess there's been power outages because Entraptor's been trying to incorporate that disc they found in the snow into the grid, and I guess it's screwing everything up. So that's from the last episode, so I guess they're still working on that. What I don't get is I know Catra's like jealous now of Entraptor because she's so close to Hordak, but she has to realize Hordak is he just uses everyone. He doesn't care about you. And right now, Entraptor is the most useful for his immediate plan. So it's not like he likes her or anything. He probably finds her to be irritating as all hell, but she has the technical know-how to do these things. But, there's that little bit of resentment. We get back to Shadow Reaver's cell, and like I said, the food's just out of reach, and it looks awful. It's like a cup of water and like a green Snickers bar. It looks freaking disgusting. But she can't even reach it, and she keeps kind of thinking about the past, and she's like training this Micah kid, and she basically tells him, the princesses have power. There's magic everywhere. The princesses draw power from the rune stones, but us sorcerers, we can draw magic from anywhere. It's like our own will. We can do that. And she's like levitating a stone and doing all this kind of cool stuff, and he wants all that. And she's like sees that he is very, very powerful for his age. He has a lot of like inept magic ability in him. So she's like, okay, I can train you, but you have to do everything that I say. They go collect a bunch of those crystals from that room, and I guess they break them down to this powder, and I guess that powder is used to make the sigils on the ground and all that. And she's doing the magic, and she can kind of see there's a lot. He's able to like catch on pretty quickly. They start doing like a spell where like it creates like this orb, and then he turns it into a 3D thing, and he starts bringing in all the different shapes, and then Shadow Reaver gets kind of angry at him. She's like, who else has been teaching you?
Impossible. Who else has been teaching you?
No one. I just did what you taught me.
Because she can't believe that he's this far along without getting some type of extra outside help. And then Micah gets scared. He's like, oh, I'm sorry. Did I do something wrong? Did I mess up? And she's like, no. And she kind of pulls it back. But you saw that greed for power, that lust for power, and how if there was someone stronger than her, she got angry at him. So Lightspinner has always had that little bit of darkness in her, that draw to power. Then she's like, oh, then she starts realizing, wait a second, you're super powerful. And she kind of says it under her breath a little bit, but I can shape you. She could have said I could teach you and be your teacher, but the way she said it was, you could tell she had nefarious means. Then she shows what I've been wanting to see like forever. It's not animated, it's like still shots, but she basically shows them how the Horde has invaded, and you see armies. It's not the biggest army in the world, but you see an army, you see tanks. It's like, where the F are all these people? If they were there before, why aren't they there now? This would have been so great if the season 1 finale would have had this instead of whatever the hell we saw there. But she shows Micah, hey, look, these people came here, they're invading our lands, and they're destroying stuff. The princesses can't hold them back, and here we sit in our ivory tower, and we're doing nothing. We need power, we need strength, and we have to fight them back. But that lust for power, it's very Lord of the Rings, we can use the one ring to save us. But you can't use that type of evil because it's going to corrupt you. And this whole time they keep showing these moons that are above, and I guess when they get into alignment, all the power gets magnified. Oh, I thought that was pretty cool. But Catra's sitting out on the, what a great shot of the Fright Zone. This looks really cool. I like this, the cityscape here. And kind of the same place where she was when Adora was talking to her in season 1. And she's out there and just thinking, and of course Scorpia shows up, and she's like, oh, I knew you'd be here. You always come here when you're upset. And I know they always got to sprinkle in comedy, and Scorpia try to talk to her. She's like, oh, I'm fine, and Shadow Reaver's fine and everything. And she's like, oh, no, that's not true. Like, I can tell. I've known you long enough. And I feel kind of bad for her, but she's like, oh, my bestie. And then she's like, kind of touches her arm, and then she like pushes her hand away. Oh, I'm not your bestie. So
Now, what's troubling my bestie?
I'm not your bestie, and I'm fine.
I was like, oh, okay, there you go. But of course, Scorpia's trying to be a good friend and talking to her. And then she like pulls up the railing because she tells her, oh yeah, by the way, Shadow Reaver's being sent to Monster Island. And of course it scares her. She's like, oh, I thought that was just like a boogeyman story. Like that wasn't a real thing. That was oh, if you don't do this, you're going to be sent to the monster island. Ooh, big scary. And she's like, Catra's like, no, that's real. You go there and you die. That's like what they do to you. And Scorpia's trying to put like a positive spin. She's like, well, I don't know, maybe she can tell us how it is or whatever. And then Catra's like, no, you don't send letters for Monster Island. You just, you go there, you suffer and die. And then Scorpia's like, but why do you even care? You have spent all this time talking about how much you don't like Shadow Reaver and how awful she was to you. And I thought you just hated her. But you can tell Catra doesn't hate her. She hates all the things that happened to her, but to her, that was the only mom she knew. She raised her. So even like that abusive parent, that abusive guardian, there's still that weird, that there's a love, there's a connection between like a daughter and mother. So she doesn't know how to feel. She probably thinks I should be happy she's going to go die, but she's not. You get back to the past and Shadow Weaver's trying to convince the Magic Council, we got to do something. These armies are invading. We just sit up here and just watch it. They captured a black garnet, so they have one of those rune stones, and they're only going to get stronger. So we're going to use this, what's a spell of, it wasn't concentration. I think that might have even been it. But basically, it's a big, powerful spell supposed to make all the wizards super strong. Head wizard guy is like, no, it will, one, either corrupt you, or two, outright just kill you. So no and no, we're not doing that. But she's like, wait, the moons are going to line up. It's going to make us all powerful. I modified the spell. It's going to work. It's going to make us strong enough to fight back. Guy's like, no, we're not going to do it. But I don't like his stance. It's like, we're going to just stay back and do nothing. You can't just do nothing. This isn't like a regular thing. The Horde, the way they're supposed to be, they're incompetent in the show. But in this episode, they look like they're strong, they're powerful, and they look like they're unstoppable. So just sitting in your ivory tower with the ability to do something about it, and you just sit and do nothing. Of course, Light Spinner, Shadow Weaver, she has that anger in her. Then she starts freaking out. You guys don't want to do anything. You're weak, and that's the reason why you're unwilling to have courage in your heart. They shut her down. They tell her no. She storms out of the room, and Micah's upset. He's like, "Well, what happened? What did they tell you?" Oh, they said no. They're not gonna do anything. It's because they never understand me. They never listen to me. Just like how Catra talks about Horde. He doesn't understand me. He never listens. He doesn't care about me. They're having literally the same exact words. So, mother, daughter, that, even though they're not related, it's funny how they're so similar. And they're just afraid of my power and my strength. And then she tells Micah, hey, we can do something about it. I'm like, oh, she's going to use this kid who's just idealistic. He wants to help his teacher. He thinks they're saving the world. And she's manipulating him. She might have had the best of intentions of fighting the Horde, but she manipulated this poor boy into doing her bidding. We get back to Catra and Shadow Reaver in present time, and she's like, "Oh, you're going to the Monster Island," and then, Shadow Reaver's like, "Yeah, well, okay, when?" And Catra wants her to say something. Come on, you got to give me some information. Give me a reason to keep you here. If you don't give me something, you're going to be sent away to go die. Do you not care that you're going to die? And then Shadow Weaver's just like, she's just done with it. Like, I got nothing for you. I've already given everything I can to the Horde, and here I am. And she kind of has those same kind of feelings of rejection. We get back to the past, and they're going to do that super spell. Everything seems to be working, but as soon as it kind of reminds me of Fullmetal Alchemist too, with the creepy hands. They make the spell, the dark energies building. Then you see like all these like shadow arms start coming out and everything. Pretty scary looking stuff. This is not a good spell. Micah starts freaking out because the spell's starting to collapse, the containment. They're trying to get it to work. It explodes with this, big red eyes and black ooze. It's kind of scary. Even if anyone's seen Hellsing, whenever Alucard uses like his super dark magic and has all those eyeballs and stuff, it's kind of like that.
Now, Luke Valentine, it's time to educate you on how a real vampire does battle.
Micah starts getting grabbed by all these arms. I thought, oh my god, this thing's gonna grab him and like absorb him and like kill him. And I can't believe I'm invested in what's gonna happen here. I don't want this Micah kid to get hurt because in all of this, he's the child. He starts freaking out and he runs away. And then the spell even starts to get even more disabled because now it's just one sorcerer you trying to contain it. It grabs light spinner pulls her into the dark, nasty ooze. She comes out of it and like, oh, that's how she becomes Shadow Weaver, because she gets all like corrupted and nasty. The other wizards show up, sorcerers show up, and the main guy's like, hey, I always knew you lusted for this power, and I bringing you here was a mistake. And they start to try to like fight her off, and she looks super creepy. Like her eyeballs, her irises are all weird now. Pretty cool design. I like Shadow Weaver's look. It's very creepy and scary, and definitely not. This is the bad guy. You look at this, that's an evil lady. Kind of have a cool little sorcerer's duel here. Goat Man, the main dude, is using like a light shield. She's shooting things at him. They're kind of hitting back and forth, but she straight up grabs him and pulls him into like a black void, and like I'm assuming she killed him. That, or she like absorbed all of his magic or something, because that dude is gone. She's like, yes, the spell worked. I'm more powerful than ever. She puts her little like face guard thing on, and you can see all the scars and nastiness on her face. She starts to do that same thing to Micah. I'm like, oh my God, is she going to kill this little kid? She manipulated him, used his power, and now she's going to kill him. But she pulls him close, like she's going to do it, like do the same thing she did to that other guy, but she lets him go. I'm like, oh, thank goodness. Like, because he didn't deserve it. So I guess she still has a little bit of a heart. We get kind of she basically escapes to the fright zone, and we get a kind of cool, like very noir looking, like street lamps and everything, but as she's walking by, all the lights are bursting. And the guards are like, what are you doing here? She like totally takes out one of the guards, and then she grabs him and tells him, get your Lord Hordak and tell him that I'm the key to his victory. Like, I have the power to help him. So that's when she became the full-on evil. She joined the Horde. We get back to modern times, and then Catra brings her food again, and Shadow Weaver's like, why do you bring me my food? You have more important things to do. You got all... You don't need to do this. Like, why the hell do you keep me here? She's like, oh, I just like to see you, like, I like to throw your food on the floor. Basically telling her that. She's like, no, you don't. You wouldn't waste your time on that. Why are you really here? And then Catra kind of breaks down. She's like, I want to know why did you treat me like garbage? Why, growing up, if I was saved and then you to just punish me, just to treat me like crap, like, why would you do this to me? And we get kind of like a moment between the two, because she's like, I grew up just like you. I had to fight for everything. I wasn't born into power. I didn't have all this great ability. I had to earn everything that I got. And why should it be any different for you? That's things people do in real life. People who sometimes someone will take bad experiences and then turn around and thrust those bad experiences upon another person. And instead of breaking the cycle and making it right, they continued the negative behavior and everything. And she put that onto Catra. And, and Catra's like, oh, I'm nothing like you. And she's like, yeah, I can tell in your voice you're being replaced. You feel like you're being replaced because it's that Entraptor girl. She got Hordak's ear. Hordak trusts her. And of course, that's kind of true, but even they have to understand it's not because he likes Entraptor any better than Catra. It's that Entraptor's more useful for his plan at this moment. If as soon as this is over, if something happens to Entraptor and he dies, Hordak doesn't care. It doesn't matter to him. But I thought this was we got that kind of mother-daughter moment. She's like, here, come over here. And she's like, well, no, I don't want to do that. But she kind of scooches over to her and kind of scratches behind her ears and talks to her, and then kind of gives her that motherly affection that Catra's wanted. You can even see that she kind of turns into it like, this is all I wanted. I didn't want, be captain and everything. I just kind of wanted a mom. And it's sad. You feel bad for Catra.
Up with something so you can stay.
I will try, but
and then, she's like, you got to come up with something to save yourself, because I don't want you to go to the monster island. I don't want you to die. Then I guess I forgot to mention earlier, last time she was there, she's like, oh, bring me my magic guild emblem. I want to see it one last time before I go to Monster Island, because this is the last thing you ever do for me. And of course, Catra did it for her. It was hitting her food. And we get a flashback to where she first met Adora. She's doing some magic, and Horde came back from some expedition because I guess in the lore, I don't know if they're using the old lore or the new lore, Adora isn't from here. She crash landed here, and I guess Hordak was going to scavenge that ship or something, but it said found the baby, and the baby is Adora. And you can see that Hordak's sitting in a chair like, oh, what a waste of my freaking time. All I found was this baby, just give it to the orphans. But then you can see Shadow Weaver's like, whoa, I can sense a great power in this girl. And by God, look at these big old baby eyeballs on this girl. Like, jeez, it's like she's the like Disney Channel super eyes. It's ridiculous, but she's cute as hell.
His eyes were made from the stars in the night sky.
And even Shadow Weaver's like, oh, me and you were going to do great things. And kind of, little Adora reaches out and grabs her hand. It's cute. It's nice. I like it. We're back in modern times. I guess inside of her little seal, her little badge, there was some that blue powder. And since all the moons are aligned, her magic is amplified enough for her to do something. We get back to Catra, and this is where I felt super bad for her. She comes back, she's like, hey, maybe we can, brainstorm some ideas. And like, she's starting to feel like, oh, I have a mom again, kind of in a weird kind of way. But she walks in there and she tries to touch her, and it's just an illusion. And she's like, you freaking used me. Yeah. If they were able to cuss in this show, I'm pretty sure she would have cussed. And she's like, damn it. You knew what I wanted. I wanted that familiar feeling again. You used it against me. And she sees she had her little magic seal there. She's like hitting the ground, and she's pissed. She's on her knees, and she's just done. So like, yeah, you feel super bad for Catra. And why can't the episode end just right there? But I think this is gonna be my thumbnail with her on her knees. It's because she's emotionally hurt. She tried to save her Shadow Weaver's life, had no real reason to do it except for the fact that she still cared about her. And in that final moment where they could have done something, worked together, no, she betrayed her, and it was like another betrayal on her heart. Adora left me. Shadow Weaver treated me like crap. Thought we're back, being together, like at least having some type of a friendship or something, and then you betray me. So everything bad happens to Catra, like hardcore. Hordak's not really respecting her. Dude, leave the Horde. If she would, the funny thing is, if she would go over to Adora, like somehow meet her somewhere and be like, yeah, I'm leaving the Horde, I want to be with you guys and help you guys out, I guarantee you Adora would vouch for her. Even after everything that's happened, because I think Adora could tell when Catra's being sincere, but we don't know. That's just my own fantasy, my own fanfic there. We get the feel-good crew being silly. Why do we have to have this stupid silly moment? She's holding like an antenna, and Bo's like, oh, little to the right, little to the left. And she's like making, back in the day, if anyone's old enough to remember, like old televisions had actual giant antennas. And, if you were ghetto like me, you had to put tinfoil on them and like bend them in funny ways to get TV channels. But I guess Adora's doing one side, Glimmer's doing the other. And Bo's like, Glimmer, on yours, move it a little to the right. She teleports up there, comes back, I meant my right. And this goes on for like 4 or 5 teleports. Remember when she always complains about not having enough teleports, and she uses them for the dumbest reason? Teleport up there and stay up there until it's ready, but she kept going back and forth. Anyways, more silliness, setting up the thing. Adora falls off, and Bo's not paying attention, so Glimmer has to save her. Why isn't she using Swiftwind? I thought they were supposed to like be like working as a team all the time. He wasn't in the last episode, and he wasn't in this episode, so whatever, like, I guess that whole plot point doesn't mean anything. They get all hooked up, and I guess the whole reason was because Bo was like, well, I thought my tracker pad was broken. It wasn't. It just these signs were trying to like bring him a signal to my pad, but the tuning forks were all off, and since the 3 moons are aligned, it's more powerful. And then they get kind of a message, and it has something to do with Mara, and of course, everyone's like, oh, if it has something to do with Mara, it can't be good. Why you be throwing Mara under the bus? There's only one more episode, so I don't know if they're ever going to explain that. I would like to, like they did here with Shadow Weaver when she used to be a light spinner, we got to learn why she did what she did. She had the best intentions, but it was corrupting. The power corrupted her. So you can see, oh, at least he kind of had a good idea. It just wasn't the time for it. Like that using that power wasn't good for anybody. But you see why she did. I'm assuming Mara has a very similar situation where she thought she was doing the best thing. She thought she was trying to save as many people as possible. So this whole dumping on Mara, it just kind of irritates me without knowing all the context. Maybe Mara just became a bad guy and I'm wrong, but I doubt someone would have the ability to even become She-Ra. You're supposed to be an honorable, good person and then somehow just turn bad. Like, come on, there's got to be a reason. But the episode ends there, and yeah, besides a couple silly moments at the end there, a solid, good episode. Yeah, definitely the best episode in season 2 so far. I don't know about the finale, but since the last one disappointed me, I don't know if this one's gonna be any different. But yeah, but it took place in the past, and like I said in the beginning, these writers only know how to write bad guys. They only know how to write tragic stories. They only know how to write betrayals. It says a lot about a writer that if all you can do is tragedy, it's like maybe that's a little bit in your heart that there's only tragedy and sadness there. But yeah, pretty cool episode. I can actually recommend this one. Cool fight scenes. I like the way the magic looks. Cool history. The moments between Catra and Shadow Reaver are really nice. It's just when she went and like scratched behind her ears and kind of petted her a little bit, like how you would like a real cat. It made my heart feel nice. I felt nice that Catra got to have a little bit of that feeling of she just wants to be accepted. She wants someone to care about her. She thought Adora was going to be that person and it didn't work out. She thought maybe Shadow Reaver was going to be like that and then she gets betrayed here at the end. This is going to just turn her into a super bad guy for Catra, but good stuff. I just wish they would do this, but for good storylines, kind storylines worth goodness where the good guys went out in the end. Maybe just... It's not that much harder to do, but I guess they're just focused in on the negative and the sadness. But yeah, I can recommend this episode. It's not as good as I think it was episode 11 from season 1 where Adora and Catra were having their past. Notice how the good stuff's in the past? I still think that episode's better than this one, but this one's still pretty good. These are bookends. You can watch that one and this one. You can see just how Catra just goes through all this crap. She just gets emotionally wrecked. She just needs someone to actually care about her. I guess Scorpia could be that, but she's kind of like a dummy. And I don't think Catra wants a physical relationship like a girlfriend or anything. I just think she just wants someone to care about her, for her. And I think Scorpia actually just wants, not saying that wanting a relationship with someone is bad, but I think what Catra needs now isn't what Scorpia could give her right now. Sure, she could be a great girlfriend or whatever and everything later on, but Catra needs some soul healing right now, and that she's not the answer. It could have been Shadow Reaver here that could have helped her, and they could have worked together. I think if they would have teamed up, they could have overthrown Horde, but you know, everyone's in for themselves because they're all bad guys. I'm rooting for the bad guys to do good. Like, what the hell's wrong with this show? But yeah, tomorrow we got the season finale. I'm glad I got another 2 good episodes of She-Ra in 2 seasons. I guess they have a 1 good episode quota and they made it right here. I'll see you guys there tomorrow, and keep the comments coming. I love reading them, and have a great time. See you then. Crimson Saint here. Thanks for watching the video. If you're enjoying the content, be sure to sub, like, share, and hit the bell for notifications so you don't miss a single upload. If you have any tips or story ideas, hit us up on Twitter at C15Podcast, or better yet, join our Discord server, link in the description below.